Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Great Malabite Arise News Analyst Emmanuel Ifeni.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo Myro Esse.
Good morning, Mr. Ifeni.
Yes, we start the review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. I start with the story above the masthead, the window story we call it. In compliance with PIA, NNPC agrees to supply Dangote refinery 6 million barrels in December. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPCL, of course, according to this report, credited to knowledgeable sources quoted by Reuters that come from December, the NNPCL will start supplying Dangote refinery with crude feedstock. Yes, recall that we're expecting this to commence at the end of August because before then, the NNPC tied its supplies to this crude swap, and we're expecting that by then, by the end of August, Dangote refinery will start producing. But September, October, and now we are in November, and there's this report, of course, quoting knowledgeable sources in NNPC and the Dangote Group, that indeed by December, 200,000 barrels will be supplied in December as part of a one-year deal. Of course, NNPC has a 20% stake in the Dangote refinery, funded by Africa's richest man, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. But mutual agreement and availability, mark that word, availability, and I hope we'll not get another story by that period. But we expect that NNPC perhaps will come out and make a categorical statement so that we can hold them accountable when that date comes. We don't want to say when it is December, say, well, the report you quoted was sources, not NNPC as it were. But we need to hear from the NNPC itself. Of course, on Wednesday, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission had summoned the producers, oil producers, to sensitize them on the need to meet their obligation of supplying the domestic refiners. Apart from Dangote refinery, there are other modular refineries ready to churn out products, but they are also waiting for crude oil from the oil producers. So we just wait and see. But the Dangote refinery, the 650,000 barrel a day capacity, the biggest single train refinery in the world. And we just hope the game changer that this refinery is supposed to be will take off from December. But that this is to test run, according to the report. The December supply is to test run. But of course, as we are test running, we hope products will be coming out also. Now, the lead story is Senate passes 2.17 trillion 2023 supplementary budget. House cancels presidential yacht for fiscal document, raises student loan to 10 billion naira. Federal government presidential yacht listed in budget is operational naval boat. Yes, budget passed as submitted. But the difference between the Senate version and that of the House of Representatives is that that amount earmarked for the presidential yachts, well, will now go into to be part of the students' loan fund. Well, you say it's a welcome development because there's been outcry about how at this time we'll be talking of a presidential yacht, and the Navy saying that, okay, it's for the Navy, but I don't see why the Navy will be looking for a luxury vehicle, a luxury vessel at this time. If they were asking for some combat vessel. Well, I'm not sure anybody will raise eyebrows. It's because yacht is a luxury vessel, and that is why we are having this outcry. But the House of Representatives seem to have done the right thing. So there will be some harmonization there before President Bola Tinubu can sign that budget. According to one report here, that may just happen today. Now, the Punch newspaper reps reallocate 5 billion naira yacht vote. Navy clears Tinubu. Navy, not Tinubu, requested yacht for operations. Presidency, naval spokesman. Senate, okay, 17.5 billion yacht. Air fleet, reps approve 546 billion defense budget. Defense getting a number of substantial amount there. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, kudos, trail reps scrapping of controversial 5 billion naira presidential yacht. Now, it's insensitive to propose purchase of yacht at this time. PDP, procurement, misplaced priority, NNPP, request inconsiderate, inhuman, Akingbola, action commendable as long as there is sincerity of purpose. Activists, we are buying Operation Naval boat, not yacht, says presidency. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, the lead story, electricity policy flip-flop threatens $155 million smart meters project. Bid requires high turnover cash flow, orders in dollars. Indigenous manufacturers kick petition federal government. Interministerial committee swings into action. Report puts installed capacity at 4.5 million meters. TCN PMU reopens controversial bid. Experts call for cancellation engagement. Yes, if we have we are awarding this contract, what is in meter that Nigerian companies cannot produce? $155 million smart meters phone. If Nigerian companies are producing these meters, even if they are not the top range, that will go into boosting our economy. But if, as is usual, we want to spend this money importing this, and you're saying you are having forest scarcity, well, perhaps how not to run an economy. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, manufacturers groan as diesel price hits 1,300 naira per liter. It's hitting us hard. Truckers, factories may shut down. Experts, inflation may get worse. Yes, because transportation of goods across the country with diesel at this price, certainly the cost will be passed on to consumers, whether it is food items or other goods with diesel at this price. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, the story below the photograph, aborted rally, Imo thrown into blackout after attack on LFC president Ajero to be flown out abroad for medical care. NLC. Uzodima Ajero fails to separate NLC leadership, local politics. Well, Joe Ajero, who was attacked and brutalized during that peaceful protest in Imo State, well, is not yet okay and may be flown abroad according to this report. If we just look at the Guardian newspaper quickly, the Guardian, unenviable football clubs drain states billions of naira. Yes, clubs sponsored by states. But if these states don't do that, there will be no league. And if there's no league in Nigeria, then football will also be dying at the local level. So we have to do some balancing act here until the private sector can be gotten to be part of the league process by way of sponsorship of club, as we have seen in Lagos, the new club from Lagos. Yes. And state governments holding forth, I would say, are not doing badly, because if there is no league, there will be a lacuna. And those youths who have been engaged by these clubs, we have to look for something else to do. But the amount is expensive, but football is expensive. We only need to make it more viable. Commercialize it, and the funds will come. Yes. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
Yeah. Well, Just quick things to save time. First, about the Dangote refinery. Well, I think it was Benga Komolafe of the Upstream Regulation Agency that made the point that it would be disgraceful if Nigeria is not able to provide its own local crude oil needs. I think that was how he put it. I hope I'm not misquoting him. So it is therefore gratifying and heartening that the NNPC now says, look, by December, we're going to make supply available for the Dangote refinery. Because, look, the Dangote refinery, 650,000 barrels per day. It's not just about increasing the fuel supply. It's also about creating jobs for people. And that refinery, we've been told by those who know, can add up to about 1% to gross domestic product, Nigeria's GDP. And Nigerians are waiting to see the, the multiple beneficial outcomes of the Dangote refinery coming on board. And, we've also been told, NNPCL, saying that this will be on a willing seller, willing buyer basis. Not that there will be any kind of, favoritism or preferential treatment. As for, very quickly, Comrade Joe Ajero, they want to take Joe Ajero abroad to go and treat his blooded eye. That's an indictment of Nigeria. You mean there's no hospital in this country that can treat the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress?
Maybe flown aboard.
Okay, yeah. To even contemplate the idea is an indictment of our country. And finally, Justice Oluka Adeniyi, sitting in the FCT Court, has ordered the immediate release of Godwin Emefiele, CBN governor. I hope that the EFCC will respect, the ruling of the court and realize that, under the Constitution of Nigeria, sections 35 and 36, even when a person is accused, his rights must be protected. Okay, thank you, Emmanuel.